Hi, it's Ashley from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and welcome back to my channel where I make a lot of cake and cookie decorating tutorials as well as give a lot of baking business tips. And we are finally on to our last video for the Bridgerton treat box, and today is some really simple yet delicious cake pops. Originally, I wanted to make this really adorable vintage piped cake, but I left it for too long, things got away from me, so it went a little bit dry. But in fact, this super dry texture makes for a very, very moist cake pop. Use your cake scraps for this, or cake that you've left out just a little bit too long, but it's still consumable. Or you could even use a box cake mix if you are going to be making this from scratch. You really don't need a high quality cake. I made some strawberry compote just using some frozen strawberries, covering it with a little bit of granulated sugar, cook it down until it gets that nice jammy texture, and then mix it all together. And because this is such a dry cake, I could add in a lot of the compote, so it had a big strawberry punch. And it also really looks like ground beef, so I feel like if I ever had to make a ground beef cake, I would definitely use this because it really did look like I was just rolling some meatballs. The place where most people mess up cake pops is right here. Getting this texture correct for the ball itself is so important. You want to have enough moisture in there so that it comes together, but you don't want it to be too moist so it starts falling apart. So when you are adding in that compote, or if you don't want to be fancy with compote, use just regular jam. You just want to make sure you add in a little bit at a time. Place your cake pops on some sort of tray because you are going to want to put this in your freezer, or better yet, your fridge if you have more time. The reason I say that a fridge is better than a freezer is because sometimes it can get too cold in the freezer and then it can cause your chocolate to crack. Once you take your meatballs, cake pops, out of the fridge, then you're going to want to melt down some chocolate. I am using candy melts today, but if you prefer the taste of white chocolate, definitely use that. Dye it whatever color you want. Just make sure that you're using dye specifically for chocolate. Any old food gel will not work. It'll seize up your chocolate. Because I know I'm going to be putting this into a treat box, I used very short sticks so that they can fit in the closed box. I know I give some people anxiety by using such a shallow bowl, but it works if your cake pop is super stable. Make sure to whirl off all of that excess chocolate and then put some sprinkles on pretty quickly after, but you can have some hang time of about 10 to 15 seconds. If you put it on too quickly after, sometimes the chocolate and the sprinkles end up falling off completely. I'm using a texture which is called sanding sugar, and it's very fine, so it works really well with both cake pops and sugar cookie decorating because it doesn't drag any of those designs down and it doesn't drag the chocolate down. I do like to use chunkier sprinkles sometimes, but if you are a beginner cake pop maker, using the sanding sugar really is a game changer because it's so light that you're not going to have any issues with things falling off. I then put the cake pops into the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes until the chocolate fully sets and is matte and is no longer shiny, and then I use this as an opportunity to shake off the excess sprinkles. I don't do this before because sometimes agitation can cause the chocolate to come off as well. I made these royal icing flowers to put both on my sugar cookies and the cake pops for this box. Originally, I was going to just adorn that mini cake with a bunch of these flowers on top with the vintage piping, but that didn't work out. However, these still looked really nice on all of the rest of the desserts. I didn't place these flowers directly on that melted chocolate because, again, the chocolate cannot withstand weight like this, and it would probably just end up dragging down and the placement would not be where I want it. So instead, I wait till the chocolate is fully dry, place a dot of royal icing on there. It is also a thickened texture, and then place that right on there. Notice there's no slipping or sliding of these flowers whatsoever because using the thickened royal icing really helps. If you don't want to use royal icing, you can adhere this with chocolate. It just takes a little bit longer because you will have to hold it there for just a few more seconds, whereas as you can see here, I don't have to hold these flowers on there at all. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of this Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading weekly, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye!